Hi everybody, Lori here. Thank you so much for joining me today. I've got a fun fall wreath project to share with you featuring some products from the Greetery. This is the Magnolia wreath die. It's I think from last year's holiday release, and I bought it last year. There must have been a sale, and I bought a few things that I loved. Still, first time using it. You know the thing about buying stuff and not using it. I'm guilty, and but oh gosh, I love the Greetery. You know that already, but um, I've been wanting to try to use this Magnolia wreath, and I decided, since this is my job card making, a lot of times I'm making stuff so ahead of the season. I've been making Christmas stuff since July practically. But it was nice to just sit down today. This wasn't an assigned project or anything. I'm like, I just feel like making something fallish. And so that's what I did. I'm going to use this Magnolia wreath. Now, I didn't Google Magnolia wreaths or magnolias, but pretty sure they don't come in these colors. But I wanted to go fall. You know what I mean? So I did. This is Concord ninth cardstock. I believe it's by Cider and Stardust. And then I'm taking a little Cayenne and blending a little gradient love on these petals. Then that's going to give it the papow. That's going to give the fall papow that we need. And so I'm using these these are the Concord ninth blender brushes. They're very handy size for small areas. I don't love them for big areas, but I love them for small blending. So there's a little Cayenne on Spice Cider and then Stardust on Stardust. So this one's not as contrasty. Maybe I should have gone with a darker shade of ink, but it does give a beautiful little gradient love. But so I had to work a little harder to blend the Stardust to get it to kind of show up on Stardust cardstock. But I love these two colors together for fall. I recently bought a fall wreath at Target. Do you guys shop at Target? Are you like, can you even handle the Joanna Gaines? What is it, Magnolia? The Magnolia decor and the threshold? It gets me every stinking time. And I bought I think it was a threshold or a Magnolia wreath put on the front door. And you know what? It made me happy. It made me happy. Just one of those days I was kind of feeling a little blasé. And so I went to Target, I bought a wreath, and I bought a doormat. Says welcome to our home, and it was a little retail therapy. Okay, here I'm pulling out, this is the Rosemary and Berry die set. This was a recent one, and I'm doing a little greenery, just adding a little greenery. But first I wanted to give a little gradient love to that. I believe this is, now here's where I get confused with the Concord ninth cardstocks. There's so many greens. I think this is it might be avocado. I think it's avocado. Could be grass. Do they have a grasshopper? Anywho, and then this Wildberry color, which I love. I love to do a Wildberry for fall. And I'm just temporarily adhering these to some scratch paper so that I can blend on them. I feel like once you start blending things on a card, then everything's got to get blended, that otherwise it feels like you didn't take time on a certain spot. And so I pulled out a little artichoke ink using these tiny little detail brushes. These are by Pinkfresh Studio. Love them for getting in tiny little die cuts. So little artichoke on this. I think this is avocado cardstock. See, I bought a bunch of Concord ninth cardstock because I've got the calyx unit and I love how it looks on there. And I have it all in there in rainbow order. But my problem is when I go to use certain colors, I don't know. Like, I need to label it somehow. I need a good indexing system, but I don't want to, I like the nice clean rainbow look of the cardstock. I don't want to like deter the look of it. But I just need to somehow label it. I don't know. I need a decorator. I want to make my craft room look all fancy. But the reality is it's more of a working room. There's a difference between a fancy kitchen and a working kitchen. The one that you actually work in. Well, my craft room is like a real working craft room. So it doesn't always look like Pinterest, which what I want. Anywho. Okay, gluing on the little Wildberry berries to the little stems. And then I'm using Berry Layers glue. And I'm going to just tuck these in here and there. You know what I mean? I feel like a florist. I feel like a fall florist. And this would be a great card to send anytime during fall. Great for Thanksgiving. We still have a month to go. Well, I know the Canadians, They already celebrated Thanksgiving, but we got a couple weeks here in the US. So here's the question. Do you leave up your fall decor? I still have the pumpkins outside and the mums. They're starting to die. But now that Halloween's over, I almost have a little itch to start Christmas decorating. But I feel like we haven't had Thanksgiving yet. You know what I mean? So do you leave up the fall until Thanksgiving's over? Here I'm flicking on a little vintage photo, and then I went darker, ground espresso. Sometimes you just need a little flick, and it'll give you a little kick. So flicking on, and I use two different size of brushes. The bigger brush gives you bigger flicks, obviously, and the smaller one gives you smaller. There's a very scientific explanation. And then now I decided to add more. So I die cut some little stems, leaves out of Cayenne. And then here's some more. I believe this is avocado. I'm guessing. And then I'm going to blend those too, because you can't leave it flat now. You can't do that. So little cayenne on the cayenne. Little artichoke on the, you get the idea. When I think of artichoke, when I think of avocado, you know what I think of when I think of avocado? Chipotle. And we don't have one here where I'm at. We don't even have a Chick-fil-A. I know, it's so sad. There's one about an hour away. And I like Chipotle, but we do have a Qdoba. And it's good. I don't know if I'd say it's as good. Not a ton of restaurant choices. And you know what's really, really kind of sad? Is there's not very many good pizza places here. And I can make a good pizza, but on Friday night, I don't want to cook, even if it's pizza. I don't want to do dishes. I don't want to wipe counters. And so every Friday night, as long back as I can remember, I'm talking 20 years, we get pizza on Friday night. And when we lived in Illinois, there were a few choices. You know, you got your Pizza Hut. What else you got? Papa John's, Little Caesars, if you're in a pinch, you know. But here, there's not a lot of good pizza, and we're struggling. There is a Casey. Have you ever heard of Casey's? It's a gas station. They make a pretty decent pizza. Okay, now here I'm stamping a sentiment. What's this set called? It's called Warm and Cozy. I love this kind of handwritten, loosey-goosey. I just stamped it with VersaFine Onyx Black ink. Die cut it with the coordinating die. And then did I mention the background panel is Rainforest? And I blended a little Rainforest on the Rainforest. Gluing it down to a white card base. Gluing down the wreath. I thought about adding a bow to the wreath, but I decided just to keep it raw. Keep it plain, because I felt like if I add any more, I might be going overboard. A little bit of foam tape on the sentiment, and this card is finished. I love how this looks on that dramatic dark background. There you have it. I love the Greetery. Every once in a while I go on the Greetery Instagram and it just inspires me. Betsy Veldman, she's an inspiration waiting to happen. Really, I love it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Sending you some warmest wishes today. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.